All right, everybody, welcome. Hey, it's been quite the Saturday. Let's just put it that way, okay? Oof, going through some stuff. Not gonna go into detail about it, but sorry for being late. Just letting you know I going through something, all right? Going through something. But you know, nonetheless, remember that I'm not forcing myself to stream. I stream because I enjoy the process of conversing with you guys. I enjoy this moment, at least in my day, in my weeks, that I get to just break away from what I do usually, break away from my sense of reality, and at least I'm here able to talk to you guys about whatever, however, and for the most part, once the stream is over, I take these topics and go talk to anyone around me. Nobody cares. But at least here, when I talk about Dendro, Sumeru, the things that I'm interested about, the things that I spend a lot of my free time on, at least you guys care. I hope. You guys could easily sit there and tell me, Walrus, I don't give a fuck about Sumeru. I could give less of it. But hey, I'll tell you right now, I can't go outside right now, knock on my neighbor's door and be like, hey, have you heard about our Lord and Savior Dainsleif? I'll probably get pump action shotgun. I'm just saying that shit sounds like way whack. But okay, jokes aside, yeah, today's been rough, man. Today's been rough. Whew. But you know what's not rough? It's Sumeru, all right, and Dendro. I I don't know how to say it. There was no like lead up to what Hoyoverse did yesterday. I didn't expect they were gonna do that. I came home and I was chilling, and before I knew it, I was refreshing YouTube as one would do when you're like just bored out of your mind. I was like doing some Genshin stuff, and I was like refreshing my YouTube, right? Because I don't watch my subscriber feed. Who watches their subscriber feed? You just press refresh until you see a video that you like, and then you watch it. So I refreshed the page like 3 or 4 times, and I saw a video, and it's like, even looking at it now, it doesn't look like the typical Hoyoverse thumbnail. But I just read it. It's like, oh, is this a leak? Like, that's a leak, right? There's no way. And then I looked at the channel who posted it. It's like Genshin Impact. Interesting. Because usually their thumbnails are a little more curated or a little more in your face or graphic design, but that one was just like a tree with some grass and then the MC. So I was like, what's going on here? And I read the title. It's a Sumeru preview teaser 01, the fascinating Dendro. And then at first I thought, oh, is that the thing that they showed for the live stream? Why are they doing it again? And then after closer inspection, like, what the hell's going on here? I think, listen, chat. I think Hoyoverse is trying to clap back against the leakers. I think so, right? And you see, Marcus Bullock says it was so lackluster, to be honest. That's because Hoyoverse is trying to clap back against the leakers. They literally slammed this together, right? They literally got together, be like, Dawe is like, all right, all of y'all better give me some good pointers of how to combat this, or y'all gonna be fired. I swear to God, I'll replace you guys like that. Starting with you in the front. Go, give me your idea. And the guy was, Dawe, wait, hold up. Can we start on from the other side of the table? Like, no. Give me something right now. Give me something or you're fired. And after going back and forth, they finally came up with the idea. Said, you know what? Before the leakers can get to it, why don't we just leak it ourselves? Why don't we just show them what Dendro does, the reactions more specifically? At least it's coming from a legitimate channel, right? It's coming from our channel. And then that was like, great. You're in charge of that team. I want that video out next week. Right? So that's what happened. That's why it feels like they kind of just went in, they introduced the base concept of it, they showed you guys some reactions, but they didn't really make the video as clean and as crisp as what they usually would do. And maybe that's why even the thumbnail just kind of felt slapped on. It honestly just feels like they took something, took a screenshot, like, okay, post it. We're past the deadline. That way's gonna post the fuck. Yes, that way. Yes. Oh, you don't see it? It's up. It's up right now. It's up. No, we uploaded it this morning. Yeah, no. Refresh the page. Yeah, it's up there, man. It's up there. See, that's what I said, right? That way, we good. All right, we good. That's about how I imagine. That's about how I imagined it went down in the office the past week or so. Because wait, refresh your Gmail inbox as well. I'm telling you guys, HoYoverse probably was scrambling. My theory has always been that for the most part, leaks in general are okay for HoYoverse, but when it gets to the point where multiple patches are being leaked ahead of time, like HoYoverse's point of playing around with leaks is to utilize and leverage the excitement while it's still fresh, right? It's to leverage that excitement where it's just 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away, maybe a month away. I think people can hold on. I'm sure HoYoverse has worked out a threshold. There is a perfectly balanced threshold where HoYoverse can make you wait that long while still keeping you engaged. But let's say, like, if I leak something for you that's 5 years away from now, it's really difficult to keep you engaged throughout the entire 5 years. So that's why I think HoYoverse has a problem with leaks that are going about, like, far beyond what they usually allow. And that's why I think there's a good chance these Dendro videos were made as damage control. So, yeah. I'm just gonna come out and say it. All right. So, for people who were not here during my last stream, actually, how can I do it? Like, let's do a poll here. Were you here in my last stream? Are you aware of the topic from last stream? Yes and no. Because today we do have a section of the stream catered towards what we were talking about last stream, because as you guys know, that topic was very charged and there's a lot of people who gave their input, and I just want, as a channel who continuously preach that I encourage people's opinion, I encourage people who share their opinion. I want to at least give some space for people to share some of these people's inputs. And I'm not going to choose too many. For the most part, there's a video that I want to react to. Somebody send it to me. I haven't watched it yet, but so I want to react to it live, so I don't have like a bunch of spark notes down here, right? There's no point picking apart of it. I want to get my unfiltered, raw reaction to what this person says, so this way we can have a more genuine conversation as opposed to a more orchestrated, pre-planned thing. So a decent amount of people were here. So all right, so I don't need to go too in depth to cover what I went through last stream. I'm just gonna cover the basics. So you guys know about the Twitter drama. I assume most of you do. I guess I have to talk about the Twitter drama at least. So Twitter is having an issue with the leaked characters, which is hilarious because they're already leaked. So you know you're literally calling yourself out for consuming leaks, which as long as you're not spreading leaks, I guess HoYoverse doesn't care. But there's an outrage on Twitter, a small outrage. It's not even that big of a movement against HoYoverse and their misrepresentation of the Sumeruian people. Sumeruan people. I don't know. But yeah, it has to do with your skin tone. And I went into my understanding of the situation, which is that in Sumeru, I mean, in in Sumeru, in China, they have different beauty standards from the West, and that's why, you know, to sell to a Chinese or predominantly Eastern Asian market, Hoyoverse decided to cater these new characters to the standards of what is considered attractive by China, Japan, for the most part, and that's why there's a severe lacking in darker skin toned characters. And if you guys look at it, it's always the 4 stars that are dark skin toned, because Hoyoverse doesn't seem like they want to take a risk at creating a darker skinned 5-star character, which likely could there's not likely, but there is a chance for it to flop. So why, as a company, assume that risk? That's why going forward in Sumeru, I said expect more pale skin toned characters, because that's just what Hoyoverse's target, like primary target audiences. And it's not to say everyone from the West or everybody from Southeast Asia, Middle East, Africa is now just not going to pull on these, because they're still going to pull, right? But Chinese customers are extremely picky. There's a good chance that they won't pull, and they can take their business elsewhere, which is kind of what Hoyoverse is telling these people in the West, I guess. Oh, if you don't like it, you know, take your business elsewhere. But for the most part, the West is not that big. We don't control that much of the Hoyoverse income. So you see, that's that. That's basically the gist of it. And then I was labeled a racist. Of course I was. And also people said, like, why don't I just say it for what it is, which is calling China racist? It's too black and white. It's not per se racism. It's just different culture, right? Like, for example, you've seen, I'm sure some of you guys have seen those documentaries of beauty standards in certain tribes in Africa, where, let's say, they put was it Africa? I think it was Southeast Asia. There's this tribe where they put like these metal rings to elongate like women's neck, and eventually they have like so many rings stacked on top, and then their necks are really elongated. Is that healthy? No, right? How come we don't see Twitter fighting for that? It's a beauty standard. It's their culture. Is it right? No, it's wrong, but it's part of the local beauty standard. And are you gonna go in guns blazing, forcing them to stop that? It's so right. There's no winning when we talk about this topic, but I just want people to understand that in China, in Eastern Asia, for the most part, look at Korea, look at Japan, look at China, their beauty standards are all like pale skinned people. Like, that's what's considered good looking, beautiful, desirable, whatever you want to call it. That was what I was saying. I'm not saying the country is racist, because they're not really racist, but I guess that's how some people label racist. I'm saying the words, I swear, like this live stream might get demonetized or taken down, but you know, this is an important issue because it concerns my culture, like my origins. And it's bizarre for me to think that the West can just label anyone. I guess not the West, but some of these people can label anyone racist, misogynistic, just for growing up in a land where they had no control over, receiving education from sources that they had no control over, and now ending up as an adult curated by their environment. It's yeah, so that's just how I felt about it. So of course I had a large volume of DMs, people telling me to, you know, commit not alive because I'm a racist and this world doesn't need people like me. You know, like go back to my country if that's what I think, because the West doesn't need people like me. Yeah, I'm. People were upset. All right, let's just put it that way. People were upset, and I spoke in a way where I felt I was respecting both sides. But obviously, to these people, it's either you're with them or you're against them. So I wasn't with them, but I wasn't necessarily against them. But because I wasn't with them, therefore I was against them. So they came out guns blazing. All right, bro. I booked my plane ticket to go back. I'm going back next week. Bags packed. I'm rowing my boat back to where I came from. Vancouver. So understand that we're not going to go back to that topic, but somebody did share a video saying this person has a take on this subject as well and is much more tamed and reserved. So where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Somebody sent it to me. I think it was right here. So this is the video. I have not watched it because, like I said, I want to give you guys my unfiltered first viewing. And I guess in a way, I want to go through it with you guys as well, because stuff like this, I think, deserves more recognition if they do end up nailing the main topics. So the title of the video is Skin Color in Genshin and Sumeru, which is very fitting to what we were talking about. Okay, people? Yeah. Techie the virus says having a homogenous culture and thinking of other cultures like Hover's does is not racist. Having a heterogeneous culture and thinking so is racist. That's my point. But dude, you can go to like Twitter for the most part. I think people who are arguing against Hoyoverse being racist or China being racist doesn't even know what you're referring to. Like their understanding of the topic is so basic, because if you're not all inclusive, you're racist. That's just their argument. And if you argue against them, you're racist. there's no winning. I mean, my goal is not to win. My goal is just to educate and understand and provide. Like, if I don't educate, at least provide you a different perspective. But you can say like, fuck your perspective. I prefer mine. Sure. But at least I try to give you a perspective, right? Let's take a look at this.
What's up, Genshin YouTube? This is Bench Gamer here. Yo, what's up?
All right, before we start, let's give a shout out to the YouTuber who made this. Is Bench Gamer. All right, people. If you guys do find this content enjoyable, you like it. I mean, regardless, I'm watching his content on my stream. So, hey, Bench Gamer, let's go.
What's up, Genshin YouTube? This is Bench Gamer here. So recently, leaks for Sumeru have started coming out, and like Inazuma, some of the earliest leaks are for the characters, which seem to be pretty obvious, because I bet Hoyo actually designs and starts making characters before they even get to the regions, because the characters are actually what makes them money. So I bet they work really hard and really early on to make the characters look as attractive as possible. We already know about 8 or 9 of the names for Sumeru's playable characters, and we have some general information on what the first few ones are going to look like. Now, part of this discussion around that, besides the usual does this character fulfill my fetish, is what their skin color is going to look like, or their skin tones to be exact, whichever you prefer. I don't think it's inaccurate to say that Genshin and the anime and manga genre don't really...
So, if you look at this, it's pretty obvious, right? It's pretty obvious that Hoyoverse has this favoritism to fair-skinned individuals. It hits you much harder when you look at it like this. It doesn't matter what region, what like ethnicity they're from, or how it's all pale skin with exceptions to 2 characters. And it's actually crazy when you look at it like this. You never noticed it, right? You never noticed it was this drastic.
Really have the greatest variety of characters when it comes to anything that isn't light skin tones, beige or white with a tinge of pink or peach, which describes, I would say, about 95% of Genshin's characters. Currently, the only playable characters that does not fit that description are Xingyin and Kaya, who some people would describe as brown, darker skin, or just very tanned. So the conversation about skin tones in Genshin, or the anime industry in general, is not really a new one. It's not a secret that there are very few dark-skinned characters, and usually when there are any, they tend to be kind of inconsequential, marginal, irrelevant.
And very brute-like. They're usually busty, aggressive, right, or borderline barbaric. If you're like a dude, you're like really build muscle barbaric, like they're strong, but they're usually portrayed as like more brute-ish as opposed to like being smart. Yeah, there are exceptions, of course, but like the females are usually seen as more warriors, more like work-based. It's just why can't I? Yes, again, there are exceptions. There are beautiful dark-skinned females that have been portrayed in anime. I know, right? I know, but you know, just saying. Hey, Soul, is that the Soul? Oh boy, what a fun topic. I'm sure nobody will be mad. Don't worry, Soul. I already got like 7 or 8 death threats from Twitter users. And I'm still alive a week. I mean, not a week, 3 days later. So I'm just saying.
And
How
here
bad can it
you
be?
Can use your choice of words, but
Wait, Bench Gamer. Is that the Bench Gamer? Wait, Bench. Is that you? Wait, is the Bench Gamer in chat right now? Oh! Okay, dude. Now the pressure's on. This is awkward. This is awkward. Listen, bro. I love your stuff. I love your stuff. Okay, let's just watch it first. Let's just watch it first.
that's how I would describe it. Most of the time, people just ignore it because, well, what can they do? But with the soon to be released Sumeru, the conversation about skin color is kind of coming back again for a few reasons. One is that, as stated before, there are very few characters in Genshin that have dark skin. Two is that, unlike many other anime games, Genshin actually does have one or two darker skin characters, those being Kai and Xingyin. So people have a bit more hope that there will be more characters with similar skin tones in the future. And three, unlike many other anime games and stories, Sumeru is set in a region that is based on like the real world equivalent of what people assume to be where darker skinned people live. I don't know.
See, this is the thing. Sorry if I'm gonna pause here and there because I have to. I can't watch the whole 12-minute video and then come back and I don't have a notebook, right? I just want to go through as a. This is the thing. I think this is the argument that a lot of people do put forward is that, well, it's based on what we have in the real world, but it's not necessarily in our real world. They of course take inspirations, but it is a creative like body of work. It's fantasy, so how much can we really expect them to follow through with every crucial? Then why not just set it in the real world if that's the case, right? Why not just call Sumeru Egypt and add like some fantasy things like, oh, these people in Egypt have the dendro element. That's the thing. How much can you source? How much should you source? And how much should you give credit to, or where do you stop drawing inspiration and now move into fantasy? This is a very grayish line, and of course, at something as hotly debated as skin tone and representation, of course, it's a very sensitive topic. But you have to understand, for the most part, just HoYoverse is working with a fine line here, not to give them an out. Of course, they could have easily drew inspiration, and I'm almost sure. Okay, I'm backpedaling a bit. I'm almost sure that Sumeru will have a few darker skin tone or tanned individuals. I'm pretty sure. As crazy as HoYoverse could be, I still think they will lean into some cultural reference for the appearance wise. I don't think they are that they're gonna make it that obvious. So, but with that said, I do understand this argument saying like, yeah, it's based in this region. You took their music, you took their clothing, you took their culture, you took their architecture. How come you don't take their appearance? How come you don't source the inspiration from their appearance? And right, there's really no good answer. Like HoYoverse, you caught with the pants down, buddy. Dawei. Want to hear you explain this one?
If that's offensive, but that's basically at the core of it. So the assumption is that since we're going to a region set roughly in Central Asia, the Middle East, India, Southeast Asia, we already have dark-skinned characters too. So it goes without saying that some people would expect that we would be getting more characters that have different skin tones than right now 95% of the current playable roster, right? You would think so, but all the evidence we currently have about Sumeru does not seem to be pointing that way. The leaks of the appearances for like 3 or 4 of the playable characters we're going to get in Sumeru basically say that aside from one who is kind of tan leaning, whatever that means, they're all going to have the same skin tone as the current majority of Genshin's roster. And in addition to that, none of the NPCs from Sumeru
Oh, you know what's funny is the second this came up. Wait, this isn't Sumeru, is it? This has to be no. I swear I've seen this guy in Liyue. No, no. Listen, this guy, this man on the left here, I swear I've seen him in Liyue. And this has to be like not leaks, right? I'm pretty sure these places are all like in. This is like in Inazuma. I think this is in Mondstadt. That looks like Mondstadt. This looks like Liyue. Oh, job. Oh, that's hard. This looks like Inazuma as well with the maple leaves. This Inazuma, and I think this one is also Inazuma. Yeah. So he is from Sumeru. That is awkward. All right, that is awkward. But this is hilarious because you're absolutely right. For the most part, if you expect people who travel back and forth between Sumeru and here, you would expect they're exposed a lot on the. I know I'm trying to like make sense of things that shouldn't need to make sense, but it's just funny seeing that these people literally look copy and pasted. I can't put a finger on each of them, but I feel like I've seen all of them more than once in each individual region. And that's what's hilarious is that yes, Hoyoverse recycles a lot of their NPC units, and a big mistake would be to do the same thing for Sumeru as well. I think with a new element and with the trajectory of the game, you know, designing a couple new NPCs could go a long way to show the community you give a shit. I'm just saying. Yes, it's gonna cost some money. That way, your yacht repaint could frickin' wait like just one patch. All right, you don't need that crimson gold color right now. You can wait a patch, milk the money, show appreciation, and then get the paint redone next patch. All right.
if you've noticed, as of now, have showed any different skin tones compared to the other NPCs. This isn't to say that we won't be getting any playable characters from Sumeru who have darker skin like Xingyan or Kaya. After all, none of the
Really? Wait, is this legit or like fan made? Like, is this legit or fan made? Like, I don't, at this point, I don't even know what if this is legit, that's freaking hilarious. Okay, it's fan made. That makes sense. So it's just like giving us a reference point to what characters could look like in Sumeru. And I think this is fine. This looks great. Maybe like change their attires. No, I think attire actually, you know, Sumeru does look a bit like this. Yeah. So for the most part, I love it. I dig it. I think if this were the case, it's not going to be that big a problem. Sure, it's kind of lazy to at least change the mustache, man. I don't know.
Mondstadt or Liu NPCs also have similar colors to Kaya or Xingyan. But as of this moment, we still have to like base our judgment on something, right? So it doesn't seem like those skin tones will be the norm for Sumeru. Basically, what I'm saying is that I wouldn't expect anything different than
that's
what
a
we're
leak,
already
isn't
getting
it?
right now
I don't
in
even
terms
know
of
this
character skin
person.
color.
I know this one because this one's from the preview video, the one where they showed each region, right? Oh, this is from the manga. Oh, okay. Yeah, they showed each region, and this character was in it. Yeah.
Maybe we will get 1 or 2 darker skin characters, but nothing shown in the game so far guarantees that. On the other hand, from a lore standpoint, There is nothing to prevent playable characters from having brown or dark skin in Genshin. As I've already mentioned, Kaya and Xian do already exist, and so far nobody in the game seems to give a shit about their skin. There is also another dark skinned character in the official manga who actually is from Sumeru, and nobody seems to care in the story either, so I don't know. However, there are arguments that these
Yeah, because nobody goes around town being like, oh my god, it's a dark skin tone person. Please, can I have your autograph? Right? But I find the lack of consistency a little jarring. This is what I find, right? There's no logistical reason so far pointed to why they may or may not be canned. Which you don't need it. Like, I don't need it. But if we're really gonna dive into the nitty gritty and argue, oh, you know, people from Sumeru has to be dark skin. Like, why? What's the reason for that? Is it just to push an agenda, or is it to serve a greater purpose? This is the question I always find myself coming back to, is that for things to happen in anything, it's not just games, it could be movies, it could be writing a book, short novel, whatever, anything that you do, it has to serve a purpose. Oh my god, my dog is gonna poop. I swear she's gonna poop. Jabba, please have mercy. Oh my god. Oh my god, she did not poop, she peed. And I stepped in it. Oh my god. Oh my god. I damn near slipped and killed myself. Oh my god. Okay. Where? Where's all my tissue when I need it? God damn it. Yo, chat, hold on. Your boy is holy smokes. I almost slipped. Oh, this is awkward. I I walked around all in piss, and now my floor has Lord. Oh boy. Sorry, chat. Sorry. This is what it feels like to be a brand new dog owner. The little puppy is only 3 months, so and and she peed. She peed just earlier. Oh, she peed just earlier. Forgive me, chat. Forgive. Please talk among yourselves. I'll be right back. Okay, almost done. Almost done. One last swipe. Woo! Woo! Here we go. Okay. So chat, What were we talking about? What was going on? Whew. Holy. Ah. What were we talking about? Anyone remember? We're talking about poop. No. Okay, wait, let me think back. Let me retrace myself. Retrace. Purpose. That's where we were at. We're talking about purpose. We're talking about if it's in the story, if it's in the lore, and if you want to make it a big deal out of it, it has to serve a purpose. So for people to want or demand this, you have to understand that it has to serve a bigger purpose other than to I'm doing a political campaign here in my game. So that's what I was saying.
These characters are not portrayed like in the most favorable light. Kaya used to be described as exotic in his lore blurb, but that seems to have changed because that was a mistranslation, which is kind of common in Genshin. In the original Chinese text, it just says equal the, I believe, equal the, yeah, that's what it means, which literally means from another country. So that's being changed, and it just says he's from another country now. So I guess it makes sense that he doesn't look like other people from Mondstadt, but again, nobody has specifically mentioned his skin color, so I'm going to assume it's not that big of a deal even in Mondstadt. But that's also not the best metric to go by, to be honest, because most people we encounter ignore that Paimon is a giant floating baby with a crown on her head. As for Xingyan, she's described as...
You see, this is the thing. Genshin doesn't have a lot of consistencies when it comes to this kind of stuff. So when people continuously ask or demand this kind of accuracy, like it baffles me, because to them they're just trying to force Hoyoverse to fulfill that political service, as opposed to focusing on what makes a good game.
As fierce looking. That doesn't say anything about her skin color, but I can understand if people interpret it as a euphemism for her being brown, because it's not like that's never happened before in real life. The manga, because the manga character is a straight up stereotypical bad guy. He wears like stereotypical Arab clothing, or what the Westerners imagine to be stereotypical Arab clothing. His name is Barnabas, which is kind of confusing because according to some other leaks, that's the Cryo Archon's demon name as well. So I'm not sure what's going on with him. I'm not sure if he's even human because he has pointy ears, which could mean he's an elf of some sort like Clay. And I'm definitely sure he won't be playable because he's giving me some Senora vibes. It's a shame that he's not portrayed in the best light in a game with literally only 3 dark-skinned characters, but the point is that from a lore perspective, dark-skinned characters do exist in Teyvat, and nobody really cares that much. We just don't see any of them and can only play as 2 of them, which is kind of sus, but probably why people were putting their hopes on Sumeru in the first place. I've also seen the argument that the darker skin tone is a tan and not natural, and therefore Kaya and Xian aren't really brown. This is a really weird argument to make because anime and anime type games don't really portray skin tone like that.
You see, at this point, if anybody takes that argument seriously, I swear those people are just trying to find ways to get into a fight. It's like going to a bar in a shitty neighborhood and getting drunk, and then walking around bumping into people. You're just expecting, you want to fight. Like, these people just want to argue. If you are saying like, well, Jin Yan's not a great representation of with skin tone because she artificially tanned herself, so she doesn't count. Bitch, shut the right. It's just that's the kind of vibes it's giving off. They just want to argue. And about the backhand bitch slap one of these folks.
Who don't naturally have brown or dark skin already don't get tanned even if they do stay out in the sun all day. Unless they're like that one girl who is just really tan because they're a sporty type character and that's their trope.
That's true.
So in the manga it also
and they're
shows
way
that
over
Kyle was
sexualized
brown when he was a kid as well.
Wait. That's spoiler.
And therefore by anime logic and convention it's just much more likely they look the way they do because they just look like that. There's a case to be made that Xian's brown skin is because she's from some Hicksville village in Liyue, but that poses the question why none of the NPCs in rural areas also look like her. And if that's true, then logically speaking, we would also get darker skin tone characters from places like deserts and Sumeru because they would just get tanned. But Sumeru is kind of a black box at this point, and we don't really know what's going on there. In addition to being the region of Dendro, which is currently the only element that's not playable, it's also the first.
But the thing is, the more that I see Sumeru, the more that I think that this whole desert vibe, maybe we were thinking too much of Egypt, too much of the Middle East, like too traditional as well. And lush green forests could also be a great representation of a Sumeruan region. Because their whole element is dendro. Think about it. There's no way they would let a desert... I mean, they could, but the Archon literally controls the power of plants. How was there ever going to be like a shortage of plants? It doesn't make sense canonically. It's like Liyue having a shortage of contracts and Mondstadt having a shortage of booze. Just look at their Archons. Do you think the Archons would let that happen? No. So Sumeru being like governed by a Archon who controls Dendro, it's just like, now that I think about it, like, of course they're just gonna populate the entire land with the luscious green forests and stuff. So at the end of the day, how much of the sun are they truly exposed to? I don't know. And yeah, of course, when it comes to Inazuma, right, it's like you expect people, you wouldn't expect people have much freedom because it's governed by a electro deity. Just saying, people, right?
Region where we don't have a good idea of what the cultural and aesthetic style is going to be. There were also unknowns about Inazuma, but at the end of the day, we all knew it was going to be based on Japan, which, because of its very, very popular culture, is very well defined, and there's a nice boundary on the kind of appearances we were likely going to get and see for the characters and geography. Liyue as well is pretty much defined by China. It's the China parallel, whereas Mondstadt is...
I have never seen this in China. Ever. And I've been to a lot of places in China. I've been to more places in China than I've been to countries outside of China. And I think I've been to like 13 or 14 countries outside of China. So I've been to all of the major cities in China. I've been to most, if not all, of the relatively popular sightseeing tourist places as well. I've went on road trips for like half a year driving around China. I've never once came across sceneries like this. You guys know why? It's because for the most part, these are sourced somewhat based in reality. They're inspired by reality and of course then made into fiction. So that's why I don't expect, or I don't think people should be hollering at a fictional body of work for its accuracy in realism, or like the real world. It's kind of counterintuitive in that sense. Like, do you want it to be fictional or do you want it to be non-fictional? Because there is no in between. It's either fictional. You take something that's non-fictional, you change one thing about them, then it becomes fictional, right? Because that's what non-fiction means. It means it's real. It's based in reality. So for people who are arguing this, like, how much do you want it to be based in reality? I don't want that. Dude, reality sucks. The real world sucks. The 2D life is the way to go. I'm sitting here waiting to get ported into a 3D world. I'm waiting for my Sword Art Online breakaway, and there's people arguing that we're not being like racially diverse enough. Come on, man. Please.
Just the generic hodgepodge of European culture that exists in most JRPGs. That's really what it is. It's the starting zone. It's the prologue where we get a very nice, relaxing, familiar place that we have seen in 12,000 different fantasy games. The same can't be said for Sumeru, which...
Now that I've been to Inazuma, Liyue, looking at Mondstadt, it just feels so tiny. It just feels so damn tiny. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. This feels so bare-boned. Like, look at Inazuma, the place, like, look at all the islands on Inazuma. And then you compare that to whatever Mondstadt has, like, the architecture, like, Inazuma was pretty well fleshed out. And I expect Sumeru to be even more fleshed out, or at least to a similar level of Inazuma. But the Mondstadt, my friend, oh, bro, like this. And I guess the region in general just feels like a beginner zone. It's a beginner zone. There's nothing more to say about it.
Which takes inspiration from a bunch of sources like Hindu, Buddhist, and Zoroastrian religion. But the character names are mostly Persian, Arabic, or Indian. And unlike the previous regions, which were based on known quantities, Sumeru's inspirations are not very well presented in pop culture, and it literally spans the entire region from India to Egypt. There's also a leak that says Southeast Asian culture will also play a role somehow. So at this point, I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that Sumeru is basically the entire Eurasian continent that's not China or Europe. This is why I kind of find it frustrating when people say that not all Middle Easterners or Indians are brown. Most of the time in response to people requesting characters with different skin tones. Like, I get it, that's a perfectly valid statement when Middle Easterners and Indians are so stereotyped in the West, but if we're using real life people as a baseline for how characters in Genshin should look, then logically speaking, none of the characters will look as they do because it's an anime style or JRPG. It takes inspiration from real life, but it's not real life. Characters have all sorts of impossible color combinations like pink or purple hair and yellow eyes with diamond or flower-shaped pupils. And I think,
but we're just trying to be inclusive to people who have, abnormalities in their pupils. We want to just make them feel welcome, right? We're working on it, right? The anime kind of does it in reverse. Let's first start with the colorful hairs, and then we eventually will move to the skin tones. Give them time. It'll happen. I think
the game is better for it, to be honest. I don't play this game because the characters look like real life people. If it did, I probably wouldn't play it. I like it when there are different combinations of colors for hair and eyes.
The guy's got a point.
Are pretty much impossible in real life unless you dye your hair. But I think skin ideally should be treated the same as well, and I don't get why it isn't. Give me brown skin, black skin, blue skin, green skin. It's anything is possible, right?
Yeah, you see, now the question starts, like, what if HoYoverse makes like a, I don't know, dark purple Thanos looking character, right? Not gonna lie, I don't think anyone's really gonna have a problem about it. Like, I don't think any CC would have the balls to complain about the I'll give you that much. If HoYoverse comes out with like the wackiest of skin color of a character, the most will happen will people be like, oh, I'm skipping, I'm saving for another character down another patch. But no CC, no CC would have the balls to mention the difference here. And Tectone would somehow, of course he would. But I'm just saying is that with this example, it just shows is like HoYoverse could do it, but at what cost? Like, what will it cost them to be all inclusive, to do the right thing? And I think maybe I didn't make myself clear last stream is in my stance, saying that I said that HoYoverse know what they're doing. They know of modern issues, but it doesn't benefit them enough to do it. Hence why they're turning a blind eye. And let's be honest, if you sit them down and really dig deep into the conversation, they're not going to be able to tell you why it's important for this representation. They don't know because they haven't looked extensively into it. Genshin Impact is the first game that has garnered them such levels of global success that reach so far as to North America and Europe, right? It's just, for the most part, their games were popular in China, maybe in Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia, and a little bit in the West. But Genshin really took that to the forefront, and now they have to deal with the repercussions. Of course, there's going to be repercussions, but I don't think, I'll be honest, I don't think Sumeru characters are going to even reflect the issue. Right, all these beautiful characters are going to come out, and their sales are just going to be as good. So no one's going to even notice. Like when Hoyoverse looks at their balance sheet, it's like, how did we do this quarter? Oh, sales are up. Let's keep rolling. Let's keep going with what we've been doing, which is unfortunate to say. Firstly, because then the issue kind of just gets brushed over and never addressed. But then the other thing is, if you want the issue to be addressed, you first have to show them there's a problem. How do you show them that? Let's check our quarterly balance sheet. Oh, damn, we're down by 30%. What the hell happened? Why are we down 30%? And why is this so far away from our trajectory? Let's check what happened. Okay, CN, we nailed it. JP nailed it. Oh my God, how come North America spent so much less? Right, then maybe you can get them to pay attention. But then again, how many people from North America really gives a damn about this? Gives a damn enough to break their collector's addiction? Really? Like how many? And do you trust your fellow Americans to stand by this? To not cuck you on the last day and summon regardless, being like, oh bro, I tried to hold out, but I couldn't. She was just so damn cute. And now you're sitting here looking like an idiot with your sign and your printed t-shirt. Right? So, really, will it even matter?
A fucking fantasy game. And I know some gods in Hinduism have blue skin as well, so maybe they could tie that in somehow. I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm not an expert on religion. Basically, what I'm saying is that I just think it's something that would make the characters more unique. And yeah, that's basically it. Whenever people talk about skin color, especially in places like Reddit, where the majority of people are American, everyone just kind of devolves into this race paradigm of black and white. But I'm not black, white, or American, and I still want different skin colors just for aesthetic purposes. Like how some people like blue, purple, or pink hair. Why can't I just want different skin colors because I think it would look cool? Even if you wanted your character to specifically have brown skin, I still don't think that's like a problem, right?
What tier list is this? You know, I've been staring at this tier list. I see in C, there's Kazuha. So this definitely isn't your traditional tier list, or somebody really done messed up real bad. And then I see Kuki at S tier. Is this a skin toned tier list? It can't be, because Kaya is not a waifu tier list. Ah, I see. Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why all the dudes are at the bottom. Even in a waifu tier list, Aloy is like Aloy is only better than dudes. In a waifu tier list, Aloy can. I honestly would put Aloy below Kaya Venji. Dude, that's so tragic. Yeah, why is Klee up here? Yeah, why is Klee up? Wait, hold up.
One of the reasons that drew me to
Bench, did you make this? We might have to call FBI on Bench depending on his answer. Is this a waifu tier list, and did you make this tier list?
Genshin in the first place is that it has a better ratio of male to female characters relative to other gachas. It's still not a 50-50 split, more like a 70-30, but I'd still take it over 95% or 100% female characters. And honestly, that's one of the biggest differences for me when comparing Genshin to Honkai, and why I enjoy Genshin more. Does that make me sexist for wanting male characters in the games I play?
Yes. No, I'm kidding. Hey, I'm kidding.
If it does, then I'm fucked. But I think most people would say it doesn't.
I think Honkai characters are really cute.
Aesthetic appearances or styles.
They're really, really cute.
Especially when the majority share a single aesthetic. And I don't think people asking for more characters with different skin tones are any different. It's not like they're unwilling to play any character that's literally not dark skinned. Otherwise, they wouldn't be playing Genshin in the first place, because that's literally impossible. And even if we are basing skin color on real life appearances, I think that would still justify more skin tone variation, because not even...
Wait, Korea looks so damn pale. Japan, is Japan the most? No. Mongolia? That's where I'm from. Wait, like if you look at the palette like this, it's like it's not that far apart. No, really, the skin tone is not that far apart. I guess like this is like Europe, Middle Eastern. I guess if you really want pale skin, you got to look at the Netherlands, right? You got to look at maybe Sweden. Is it over there? That area?
Even all white people look as pale as the characters in Genshin. This is purely anecdotal, but I've seen Spanish people and Italian people look darker than most East Asians. And that's certainly true for many people in the regions that Sumeru takes inspiration from, even though many of them don't fit the stereotypical Western view of those people in those places. So for people like me, Sumeru is just the possibility that we might get more characters with more different and unique aesthetics than we currently have. And part of that is definitely skin tone variation.
I'll be honest, we can do a poll, not in chat because it's difficult to kind of get the proper answer, but if somebody can do a poll, do people care more about skin tones, or are you more excited about variety of skin tones, or physical appearance? Like I'm talking clothing, attire, whatnot, just general aesthetics. Which one do you think people are more excited for? I think general aesthetics is going to win by a mile. I think general aesthetics is going to be much more anticipated for than a shift in skin tone and having more inclusiveness. I think aesthetics is what really makes people excited for Sumeru. Getting able to see the culture represented in a fictional world, and that's delivered masterfully by a studio or a company who has shown their competence in the past for taking inspiration from the real world and delivering it into the game. And I think most people who are from these regions, if they play Genshin, they're going to be extremely excited to see how their culture is represented in the game. Not so much caring about the skin tone, because it doesn't matter who's embodying or who is, adorned with their culture reference, but it's really about how that, like, for example, look at I don't know if this, look at the helmet here. Is it like combat efficient? I don't think so. But there's a lot of, I find this to be Egyptian. Right, to be inspired. It looks like a kind of I don't know what you guys call this, Anubis or something. The cloak here and the general attire. I think that's what's really exciting about for people who are from these regions. I bet people from Japan maybe got a little excited. We can hear the music, we can hear the influence, we can see the general vibe and aesthetics, which is exciting. I don't think people in Japan were really molding over the fact that, oh my god, you didn't put a geisha in Inazuma. You're racist. Right? At least that's what I think.
Maybe we will get that later on. Not all the character appearances have leaked yet, and all the leaks are subject to change anyways, but we have to base our expectation on something, right? And judging purely from what we know about the Sumeru NPCs, the leaks, and the manga, I wouldn't get too hyped for different skin tones if that's what you're looking forward to. At the same time, I do hold out a bit of hope. I've seen it said somewhere that in some places that Hoyoverse or China hates brown or dark skinned people, but honestly, I think that's kind of...
They don't hate them. I have to correct that. They do not hate them. They are... It's not that... Oh boy, I need to be very careful what comes out of my mouth. They're less favorable because generally the consensus is that pale skin equals more beautiful. The general consensus. If you want me to dive deeper into why that is, you can go watch my last live stream. I talked more in depth about it. But it's just... Think about it like this. In China, 3 generations ago, 95% of the people were farmers. Just 3 generations ago. 95% were farmers. If you guys go look at history, and then the Cultural Revolution happened for China, there's just so much that was holding back like development when it comes to not just financially and industrialization. China didn't get industrialized until very recently. Zendao says 3 generations is a lot though. Yeah, but what were people from the United States doing 3 generations ago? Right? If you just look at this, then you start to realize like, oh damn. 3 generations ago, 95% of the people in China could not even afford a full, like they can't even eat properly. And they were mostly just farmers. All they did day in, day out, agriculture, farming land, growing crops. Look at America. What were people from America doing 3 generations ago? They were already driving cars, white picket fences, right? This is, we're like, the difference is just so astounding that that's why people keep praising China or keep giving them the focus of modern times, is just how fast they went from farmers and agriculture to what they are right now. But that doesn't mean that the education has caught up. They are not well educated for the most part on modern world issues. That's the problem. They are trend chasers for the most part. Day, thank you for the $10. So we're gonna expect Tarzan as a Dendro carry. Dude, I would love a Tarzan. Like, I would love Tarzan to be like a Tarzan-esque character. Somebody who can really navigate the jungles, have a lot of verticality in their combat style. Kind of like a Hazo mixed with someone like maybe a little more reach. I don't know, but it's cool to think about.
Wet status. Damn, that's hot. So, when can I expect Tarzan as a Dendro carry?
Yeah, so that's just what I want you guys to know. Like, my grandparents, for the most part, worked in agriculture. And then, yeah, that's right. My grandparents, for the most part, worked in agriculture. They had a very tough upbringing. For the most part, even my parents, as they grew up, they pretty much post-secondary education is very rare at the time as well. So for the most part, they graduated high school, and if they went to college, good for them. If they didn't go to college, they would be lucky to get some sort of government assigned position and just work for the rest of their life in those positions. Where do you think the time or the principle of learning these first world issues comes from? We're asking these people, we're asking farmers who never had proper education to cater to the views of first world countries who have had a multitude of time to develop, not only industrially, economically, socially, but have reached a point of stability where, for the most part, like I think in the United States, job occupancy is like 95%. There's only 5% of the people in the United States who don't have a job, and then people were making fun of that. It's like, who the fuck are hiring these people? it's pretty bizarre that for the most part these people are sitting up on their high horse talking down to people as if, you know, they at one point weren't ignorant of these issues, and it took them time and generations of proper education of the youth to slowly get to that level. Whereas now they're up here, they immediately scan around them and be like, everybody has to be at my level. If not, you're a bigot, misogynistic, you know, anti-Semite, or straight up racist. It's bizarre, and I don't think it's fair. I really don't think it's fair. Sure, you can say it. You can say like, hey, be more aware, but you shouldn't call them out in this way. You shouldn't look to people. That's why I'm saying it's not that they hate darker skin tone people. It's not favorable because it reminds them of the time they used to do work in agriculture. And these people, like, think about it like this. These people who worked in farmlands spent their entire life savings to send their kids off to school in major cities. There's a saying in Chinese called 砸锅卖铁, meaning they will break their pots that they use to cook food just so they can get the scrap pieces of metal, sell them, 砸锅, meaning smash the pot, 卖铁, which means to sell the metal that they got from smashing their pots just so their kids can go to school in the city. Just so they can afford tuition, just so they can make sure their future generation not live a life that they had to live growing up, farming like 8-10 hours a day in the scorching sun. That's all they knew, because that's all the farmers know. What else do they know? Do they know like finance, Wall Street, like dividend investment, crypto investment? No, all they know is how to grow crops. So that's why they urge their kids, don't be like me. Study hard, get into a good school, and get a better future for yourself. Your dad will do everything he can to provide you as long as you earn the opportunity, right? And of course, over time, the kid who moved away from the farmlands, the outskirts, right, from the rural areas, moving into the city, now eventually they have kids, and their struggles, they're gonna pass on. They're gonna teach their kids to work even harder, so they don't go through what they went through. Like, hey, I started off out in the rural area and I had to move in to work hard. Your grandfather had to, sell everything just to provide an opportunity for me to go to school here. I want to make sure you have a better future. And over time, now we're at a generation where the kids have a relatively privileged, like most of the time, they have a relatively privileged upbringing compared to just a generation ago. But the stereotype here is that they don't want to associate themselves with their past because they're always told to keep moving forward. Don't assume the appearance nor the habits of where you came from. It's not that they're ashamed of it, it's that they don't want to go back living that life. It's because the grandparents says, I look like this, so you don't have to, right? So, and that's my upbringing was like that as well. Is that you should work hard, you should go towards this, because we don't want you to end up like your grandparents. My grandparents were also telling me, don't end up like us. We didn't have the benefit of proper education from a young age. That's why all we could do is farm. That's like, I don't know how much more clear I can make it for people. It's not that they hate dark-skinned people, it's that it reminds them of a time when they were lesser, where they were not as fortunate. And of course, they want to strive for a better position. Maybe in the office space, away from the sun. Who wouldn't want to do that, right? Get into a big company, work in the office where there's air conditioning, you don't get as much sunlight, or at least you can control the amount of exposure you have to sunlight. So you end up of course, you naturally just end up a little more pale. And of course, it doesn't help that all these makeup products, if you guys seen these makeup videos for TikTok or YouTube Shorts or wherever, it's that they all make themselves look super pale. Why? It's because they're always chasing this dream of, this is what I want to be like, because that's the dream that's being sold to these people. That's why it's like that, right? So again, it's not that Chinese people hate dark-skinned people. We don't hate them. All right, I think that's okay, Hannah.
It's kind of whack, because you would have to expect then that they hate Kaya and Xingyin, right? But actually, Xingyin probably isn't the best choice, because she is literally one of the weakest and clunkiest characters in the game. But aesthetically speaking, she's like A++ tier for me. She's almost S tier. Somebody obviously put a lot of love into designing her, and the same can be said for Kaya, who is literally one of the most lore important characters in the entire game. So if they really hated brown people or dark skinned people, then why would they make one of the most important characters in the game just brown. So I don't believe there's something fundamentally against more varied.
Well, okay. Here's also something I do want to add on is that just because they made an important character a darker skin tone doesn't really mean they favor them. It's also because it's seen as more exotic nowadays. Like if you there's a difference between tanned because of like working tan and natural tan, and I think Hoyoverse and people in China understand the difference, and of course they are not influenced, but they're exposed to people from the West who actively go to suntan booths and get themselves tanned on purpose. They know that is a trend. It's just that it's not so favorable in China. Again, I think maybe last stream I made it sound like people in China have no idea what it is. They do understand it, but it's so rudimentary and basic. And of course, there's many who study abroad and then they get exposed to this more and they go back, they tell their families, they tell their friends, which also helps spread the word. China is a vastly growing nation, and I'm sure in the future generations that they will be much more inclusive, but this takes time. It takes generations of people properly educating the youth to develop the proper mindset, and of course even then there will be deviations that just won't work. Overall, I think Bench, a great video, touched on most of the points that wanted to talk about. I guess you were not as agitated as me when I talk about this issue. It's just because it sucks that I'm being labeled as something that I literally suffered from racism growing up when I went to school, because when I first came to the West, bro, I was as exotic as they came, and I lived in one of the whitest neighborhoods you can imagine. So of course, I was a walking beacon of indifference. So of course, I ended up getting bullied, and now people labeling me as racist, right? That just blows my mind, because I don't think, like, unless there's something about me that I just didn't realize, maybe I come across as that, I don't know, but it's not who I am. It's not what I represent, and that's why I'm so passionate about this, because for the most part I think there's a huge misunderstanding, and these people, I guess they will never get it either. Lil P Gaming says, no point arguing with the internet wars. You can't win. All people will think what they want to think. Yeah, and I understand that. It's just, it was a good opportunity as well to give my 2 cents on this, so it at least gives my audience a clearer sense of what kind of person I am, where my morals are at, how, like, what do I believe in, and my background in a sense. Which now that you guys know what I dealt with, what I struggled with growing up, as well as my stance on this subject matter, and what my experience with China has been. Yeah, that's gonna be that. This video was brought to you by Bench Gamer. So if you guys do enjoy that commentary style that he did, make sure to go give him a sub. Very, very nice. So let's talk about Sumeru and Dendro a little bit, because that's the title of this stream, and of course I want to focus on it. My dog is sleeping over there peacefully. My cat is laying here in my lap. Yes, I am a Disney princess. Ow, that hurts. She has her nails really deep into my shoulder here. But I guess we'll keep you like this, Anna. Let's talk about Dendro, because listen, if you guys haven't watched my video from yesterday, you guys need to go check that out, because we're going to be talking about some of these points that I mentioned, and I don't want to repeat everything. What's your Disney song? A Disney? Oh, Hada, no. 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 Okay, Hannah. Go, 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 go. So, for the most part, I wasn't too excited for the reactions, and I'll tell you why. It's because they just didn't seem that impactful. And Tech Device is asking, Taser will be meta because of Bloom and Catalyze. But the thing is, Taser is already meta. Unless they really just want to double down on Taser. Kind of just like nowadays for Pyro, it's just Vaporize. I mean, yeah, you got Melt, Ganyu, and you got like Melt teams, but Melt is not as utilized as Vaporize. Vaporize is just more favorable for the most part. And for Cryo, it's Freeze. For Hydro, actually, this is why Hydro is a busted element. Hydro has Vaporize and Freeze, and it has Electro Charge, which Hydro is really the centerpiece of everything. Hydro has like triple elemental reaction advantages. So it's almost to say that every team needs at least one Hydro unit. That's the current situation. And I believe Hydro and Dendro was Bloom. That's what they called the reaction. Right? So you see, I don't think, looking at the Dendro reaction from yesterday, at least as it is right now, I don't think it's gonna change that much. I think predominantly Hydro is still gonna be sitting at the top, Pyro is still gonna be really, really good, followed by Cryo, followed by, oh no, actually, yeah, but okay, I think it bumps Anemo down a little bit. Sorry, my bad. I think now, after seeing the reaction, it's gonna be Hydro, then it's gonna be Anemo, Cryo, Pyro, Electro, Geo. I don't know where Dendro is gonna go in this, but that's like the original 6 goes like that, and Dendro will slide into there somewhere, obviously. But depending on how impactful its reaction is, it may or may not be a game changer. And I know that because Mtashed didn't drop a this changes everything video after he saw the thing. It's because for the most part, like I was saying, I think you guys might have thought I was joking, but I honestly think that the teaser, which was revealed yesterday, is more of like a in the moment scrambling for Hoyoverse. Oh, we need to get this out ASAP, as opposed to a proper pre-planned production. You guys know what I'm saying? Oh, Jabba is here. Day says Electro Resonance needs a buff. Like, just give it a flat 25% ER and generate white particles. That would be really, really good. But I think it has to be between giving the ER. 25% ER is quite a lot while generating white particles. I think it's either generate white particles with like 5 to 10% ER, or just generate 25% ER. That's it. That's it. No additional white particles, because it likely will be a little too favorable. I do think, for the most part, Electro Resonance is rarely utilized. Sure, it might be a byproduct, like, oh, I just happen to have 2 Electros on the team, and yeah, it helps. But for the most part, even yesterday in the video, Hoyoverse said we want Electro to be not regenerative, like an energy regeneration element. Right? They came out and said it. They confirmed it. That's like the first time Hoyoverse canonically be like, yeah, that's what we were going for. That's what we wanted. So, okay, Hoyoverse. So why a regenerative element is solely working in a regenerative manner, energy-wise, for Electro? Doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of it being like this almighty energy regeneration element? I mean, and don't get me started on, but Walrus, Raiden Shogun regenerates. That's one character. That's not the element. That's a character that just happens to be that element. Change that character to Pyro and give her the same effect. Right? It's not Electro doing the recharging. It's Raiden doing the recharging. And I think so many people have a problem getting that around their head. It's that, oh, but Raiden does it and she's Electro, so therefore Electro is an energy regenerative elemental typing. Confirmed. Bullshit. It's literally Raiden is the one doing it, not Electro. Whereas we should be focusing on having Electro have some level of influence. It doesn't have to be as significant as like a freaking Favonius weapon at R5. But it should help a little bit. And imagine having 2 slots in your team, both being Electro just to activate this effect. That's wild to even think about, right? The commitment is so damn deep to even activate this. Do you guys know 2 slots out of 4? That's half your team just going into commit to a resonance, right? And right now the resonance just doesn't justify 2 slots on your team. The only resonance nowadays I think that could be justified are either double Geo or double Pyro. For the most part, I think these 2 are really, really well utilized resonances, and the others really need to like pick up the pants. Oh, and double Cryo. Sorry, I forgot double Cryo. Yeah. Double Geo, double Pyro, double Cryo. Yeah. Sorry. Double. I relax, chat. I forgot. It's like 20. I hate the delay because now you guys are gonna see me saying yes, double Cryo, I forgot, and then everyone is gonna be like, okay. So he does that. Yeah. So these are the resonances that are really good, and I hope Dendro resonance is of some competence, because seeing how double Hydro, double Electro, and double Anemo have very little combat relevancy, I'm a little worried that double Dendro is gonna be something similar to those, like a functional or a situational resonance like Anemo. Like, why would you ever bring double Anemo resonance for combat content, right? Tech Devices, ideas on Dendro resonance. Yes. Yes. I think Dendro resonance should focus around EM. That's just I don't know how. It could be a percentage EM buff, which is going to be broken because EM skill's really, really high. So actually, maybe that's not a good idea. A flat EM buff just sounds too basic. So if it's a flat EM buff, then maybe it has a secondary effect, kind of like Geo, whereas maybe it shreds enemy resistances. Okay, maybe not. I think. Yeah, someone says plus 80 EM, that could be good, but then if it's just plus 80 EM, it just feels kind of cheap. Not cheap, but lackluster. It doesn't feel like it's impactful enough. Right? I think plus 80 EM and another effect, or plus 60 EM plus another effect would be good enough for Dendro. And it's plus that elemental mastery for all your characters. And think about it like this. All characters, for the most part, can benefit from elemental mastery. It may not be a primarily focused main stat, but EM on almost any character has a function because all the reactions some scale off of EM in one way or another. All reaction damage plus 20%. That sounds kind of broken. Yeah, I think maybe shred enemy resistances depending on the element that reacted with Dendro. So if a Pyro reacted with Dendro, reduce enemies pyro resistance, meaning burning is going to do more. And if hydro and dendro reacts, then it's going to be bloom, which I don't even know what kind of reaction that's going to be, and what element ends up taking over that reaction. Is it going to be a dendro thing, then reduce their dendro resistance, whatever. I think at resistance shred is a very valuable feature in the game, so maybe they'll give him, maybe they won't give it. That's just swirl though. Damn, you're right. Actually, that's just swirl though. So I don't know. I think giving flat EM could just be like the most basic and easiest way out. Bloom causes spores to form that causes dendro damage. Is it also damage over time? Then I guess maybe dendro resonance just buff damage over time. Like buff EM by 60 flat and then increase all damage over time dealt by 15%. Something like that. And just call it a day. All damage over time. And in the future, there may be specific dendro characters that have skills which deals damage over time. Right? So, a dendro character who does damage over time from their skill now also benefits from a double dendro resonance. I think that could be good. Yeah, damage over time. Maybe focus on damage over time, buffing, and elemental mastery. Done. Done and dusted. That's what I hope it is. Because it seems like dendro has a lot of dot damage. Yeah. So for the most part, that's gonna be that. I want to make a video today talking about my little conspiracy about HoYoverse doing some sort of damage control with their little video yesterday. Because the more that I looked at it and thought about it, it's like, damn, like why now? Why all of a sudden? You know, was this always planned? It just seems out of place, and maybe this is also indicative that 3.0 might be coming next patch. Right, for people who looked at leaks right now, probably are like, oh yeah, damn it, Walrus, like 3.0 is right after 2.8. But I think if they show this, maybe it is. Right? So, yeah, we can make a video about that, and let's record that now. Okay, let's just record now. Sup everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about HoYoverse Leaker Hunt Decree 2.0 and general damage control. Right now, HoYoverse is on the defensive. It's evident with the video that was released, I guess now 24 hours ago, almost exactly. They released it, I think, 9 p.m. yesterday. It's 9 p.m. today. So that Dendro teaser video 01, by the way, part 1 of 2 or 3 or 4. HoYoverse feels like they're scrambling. If you go look at that video, it felt like everybody had a gun pointed to their head, be like, you guys gotta get this video out ASAP. We need to cut ahead of the leakers. This is HoYoverse fighting a battle between them and the leakers, because I think HoYoverse for the most part have been okay with leakers leaking patch content, because you know, they're understanding that for people to be testing their game in beta, they're gonna be having access to all this information, and there's really little to no ways they can regulate it. Just let it be what it be. It's just a patch ahead, right? And it's coming relatively soon. But to have things 2-3 patches potentially ahead of time getting leaked, it's very stressful, and I hope that HoYoverse is doing fine in their HQ. Evidently, this is not going to be too influential for them. In fact, I made videos in the past talking that it's only going to get people a little more excited to eventually get into Sumeru. So, what's with the video they released yesterday, though? It just felt as if there's very limited attention put into the quality and delivery of the content, and more so just rushing to get the information out while still trying their best to keep it somewhat secretive and keeping details under wrap. Because when it comes to scaling, when it comes to general reaction concept and further in-depth explaining the reaction, they don't want to do that, because of course, as per normal Hoyoverse fashion, for you to learn more about this, you have to find out in game. But this time specifically, it felt as if Hoyoverse was just saying like, hey, don't pay attention to whatever the hell is going on out there. Look at us. Look at us. All right, here's Dendro. Hey, look, it's Dendro. Dendro, aren't you excited for Dendro? Take a look. And yeah, I think it's cool that they were forced to show their hand this early. Maybe this video was slated to be released, I don't know, midway through this patch, maybe at the end of this patch, as a part of the 2.9 or 3.0 live stream. Who knows? But now they're forced essentially to show this, because by then everybody would know everything there is to know about Dendro, and they can just cut out the segment altogether, or show the segment knowingly that everybody already knows what they're talking about in the segment. So I think a lot of people do understand that to some degree the video that was released yesterday was damage control, and there's no need to be ashamed of it, because for the most part I do think that Hoyoverse needs to find a way to address the importance of not being excessive with leaks. And I've said it many times. I know for a fact now Hoyoverse is okay with some leaks, and they've accepted that reality, but this is just going way too far, and they are uncomfortable, because now if any drastic changes happen to the characters, to the story, to the visuals, to the aesthetics, to the region, people are going to be like, oh my god, what about that? Because you don't ever want to build expectation for a product, if that makes sense. You rather release the product and have people react blindly to it, and so that means even if the product doesn't deliver or doesn't perform well or up to expectation, there was never any proper expectation to measure it to begin with, but now there is, right? And that is going to be putting a lot of stress on Hoyoverse. So whatever they're doing right now is just to get our attentions away from whatever the leakers are saying. But listen, okay, for the most part, I think Hoyoverse has already got the region kind of under wraps. Things are being finalized. There's very little that's going to change. It's not like I'm saying, oh, they need to go and rechange everything and all this character's design, their animation, the size of their boobs, and whatever. No, everything for the most part is finalized. I think nowadays they're probably working on post Sumeru regions, meaning like the economia of Sumeru and stuff like that, to eventually populate this land with more meaningful, more insightful content. And if you guys again redirect yourselves to the teaser yesterday, it's so like Sumeru is going to be a big brain region. Let me just tell you that. Like, if you don't know your Dendro reactions properly, you can't even farm essential materials for the most part. That's how messed up that region is. And I thought Inazuma was bad with the cuckery that they've delivered when it comes to the electrograndum system or whatnot. Just absolute nightmare to navigate for the most part if you're not looking at a guide. But when it just interacting with plants with different reactions garners different results, and hitting mobs will change their forms depending on what reaction you use. I mean, golly, just why don't you just slap me up the butt cheek and call me Shirley, right? It's just, if you're gonna do me that dirty, Hoyoverse, at least use lube. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say for today. I do think for the most part, 02 should be a little more polished when it comes to the teaser, because Hoyoverse right now is probably going back, scrambling, like, okay, we showed them the basic introduction to the Dendro element and its reactions with Bloom and Catalyze. What now? Are we going to show the resonance? Are we going to show characters? What more are we going to be teasing in Sumeru and in Dendro for people to stay excited? Well, let me be frank with you, Hoyoverse. For the most part, we are already very excited. There's very little you can do now to either hold the people back or get them more excited. Just understand that the cat's out the bag right now. Like everybody is just making plans already. There are people that are logging in that haven't been logged in for like months, right? Patches. And I think that's something that you should be celebrating as opposed to scrambling to combat this. I lost my train of thought. I'm so distracted by her. Anna, what are you doing? Ah! Ah! Good girl. What was I talking about? I was talking about them accepting this, right? Not hiding from it. Where was it? Where was I going with that? Ah, yes, the leakers. The leakers. When it comes to leakers, I do think that they're doing God's work because right now there's no company and game that can challenge HoYoverse when it comes to Genshin Impact. The only thing that's lighting any level of heat under HoYoverse is actually the leakers. Listen, people, I'm not consuming leaks because I'm just stubborn that way, but I don't ever want you guys to think that I don't support what they do here. They keep HoYoverse on their toes, and for the most part, this is all we got, people. This is literally the last line of defense we got. If HoYoverse completely eradicate leakers and what they do, they will be in full control of what we see, when we see it, how we see it, why we see it. And I don't think that's going to be healthy going forward, because then there's just going to be more manipulative ways. Because there's just going to be more ways HoYoverse can manipulate us into thinking and feeling how they want us to think and feel. Now, that's not to say that currently with the leaks coming out, it's not an orchestrated thing for HoYoverse to run a marketing ad campaign to generate more excitement back to Genshin, even though they still have one more filler patch to go through. Granted, this patch, likely we're going to be getting a lot more Primo Gems because it is the Summer Islands, and as per tradition, not traditions, because it's the first reiteration of the Summer Islands. I'm excited because I see that they redesigned a lot of it, which is baffling to me because I thought we're just going to get the same island, maybe with some different events, different lore, different story setup, but no. Apparently, we're probably never going to see the old Golden Archipelago again. I hope they reuse some pieces of it, right, chat? I don't... It's baffling to me because people were saying, oh, you know, they're just going to reuse it next year. And here we are next year, and during the trailer, I didn't see much of it. So HoYoverse really... I don't know. I really think people need to go out of their way to make sure that leakers are protected. These species may go extinct in the near future, depending on how HoYoverse likes to proceed with this. But for the most part, I'm excited to see 02. I want to see how this goes. Leakers versus HoYoverse. Let's see how the damage control... Let's see how HoYoverse is going to continue doing damage control and keep things in check. All right, this has been EroticWalruss and the beautiful chat. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, urge you all to stay safe. Peace, peace. Bye. Woo! Man. Oh, my dog is asleep below me. You guys, okay, do you guys want to see the photo? One moment. Do you guys want to see the photo? All right, I'll show you guys the photo of my doggo. This is literally me right now. Moment. Chat. Yes, you're right. To whoever said I live in a zoo, I quite literally do live in a zoo. That's under me right now. Stop looking at my toes, you filthy, disgusting animals. I know you guys were looking at my toes. Disgusting. Yeah, I can't move. Look, I can't move my chair. I can't. I'm stuck here. I am actually stuck here. That's crazy. I'm trapped. She had a very energized day today. We went for a long walk. She got a ton of good food. Yeah. Doggo claimed location. I can't move. I'm stuck here. Walrus, my message. Oh, Shukai, sorry. Using Chinese words will let me type more equals more value. Also, did you opt in for gifted memberships? Don't seem to be able to find it. I think I did. Yeah. Yeah, I can see. My God, gifted membership, bro. Shukai, are you thinking of gifting memberships? Yeah, I did activate it. I don't know why though. Maybe some people can see it, some people can't. Yeah, if I go here, if I go into the thing, it doesn't work. Maybe I have to go away and look into it. Yeah, I can do gifted membership. Actually, I can gift a membership. I can give 5 membership. I can give myself membership. This is crazy. I can give myself membership. It's like giving myself money. But viewers have to turn it on for themselves. Oh, that's why. Okay. No one is safe from the gifted memberships. Yeah, you. Don't worry. I'll have to go away, properly think of a plan and how I want. Because if I start gifted memberships, I have to set goals. I don't want to just have randomly open gifted memberships. So I want to set proper goals, and so you guys can keep track of where we're at, and then we can work towards these goals. And I want these goals to be something that's maybe community set and driven. And of course, I will oversee and have remain the rights to veto it. Let's say if you want me to, stream naked at 500 members, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. And then again, why am I assuming you guys want to see me stream naked? I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm just picked it because of its absurdity. Exactly. Riona says WTF. That's exactly what I mean. So, or like if you guys want me to do like a backflip on stream for every gifted channel member, that's not going to happen. I won't last one stream. Huanglei by herself can give me permanent brain damage. with just $50, you can give this streamer perfectly suited brain damage. So Shukai says, how do I turn it on? I have no idea. I don't know how this system works whatsoever right now. Mine is turned on now. I think it's because when Huanglei was doing gifted membership, I had to turn it on to accept them. Chi-Chi cosplay. Ah, yes, the cosplays. I'm gonna have to set some really insane membership thresholds so I don't have to cosplay. And as long as the big spenders don't pool together their finances, it's not gonna happen. Maybe you should set it at like 1,000 channel members for a Chi-Chi cosplay. I'll be safe for the next 5 years, so I have enough time to work out and get in shape. Cosplay as Geo Slime. Oh, I can do that. Like just a giant slime with like the face cut out and my face is here. Like that. Chi-Chi battery cosplay must happen. Actually though, let's do that. Chi-Chi battery cosplay. You guys are creative. I see. Very creative. Okay. Sanzu can solo gift 100 people. That's true though. You see, it's scary to think that Sanzu can just pop in and crush every single well thought out membership goals. Is frightening. No, but the thing is, Sanzu can't give that many memberships because I don't have that many viewers. You know what I mean? I average about like 200 something viewers, so the most probably is like 200. That means everybody in chat is a channel member. But that still wouldn't get us close to 1,000. There's just not that many people to give. So I can set like 1,000 channel members for a cosplay of your choice, like community voted cosplay. I could set that, but we're never gonna reach it. Hey, consider yourselves saved. All right, consider yourselves saved. Techie Devices, do you still do account reviews? I do. It's just most people don't really apply for them anymore. I think nowadays, especially with the feature, oh, I was out the whole day. So especially with was it this one? With this feature, oh, with this feature nowadays, like people don't really need me to tell them what to do, and for the most part, guides probably even cut out that section from their guide videos. Like artifact main stat recommendation in guide videos probably aren't as prevalent anymore. Maybe I don't really know. But yeah, I think people are just getting a better understanding of a better grasp of what Genshin, what you need to do in the game, you know, so they don't really ask me for advice anymore. Saeed Daniel says, never underestimate the viewers. We have proven when you challenge us, we shall at least try. Well, the thing is, I'm not doubting you guys can get to the goal, but I'm just saying it's gonna take you guys a while, and in that time I have enough like mental preparation to get ready for a potential like Mona cosplay request. You know, like, is that even legal? Can I even do that? I don't know. But you know what? Let's roll with Chi-Chi. How about that? I really don't want you guys to have to see me like dress up as something like crazy. Just I think a Chi-Chi battery meme cosplay is great. Koi Tao says, Walrus, notice me. You are noticed. I notice everybody. I may be slow, but I notice. I do. It's true. Like Anthony Chen. Did Anthony Chen do a Chi-Chi cosplay? I don't remember. Yeah, I would love to do a Chi-Chi. Actually, maybe I shouldn't say that because they're like, oh my god, he loves it. Then we gotta do something else. We gotta make him hate it. Chi-Chi battery actually could be a good cosplay idea. We'll see. Like, I think maybe we'll set like 200 channel members, 300, 400, 500, 750, 1000. Maybe I'll do that, and we'll do increments of goals. And what we'll do, I want them to be somewhat like meaningful, maybe leveraged. Oh Hana, you're back. Oh, good girl. How did you get here? Like cosplay as Geo Slime was a good one. Geo Slime cosplay. You need the wings and the primos floating. Or since Well, since you have noticed me, what do you think about the new sword? What new sword? Prie says, do you think it'll be better to just save for Dendro rather than pull Kazuha? No. Okay, listen. The smart move would be pull Kazuha because Dendro characters will be coming out in droves, if you know what I mean. Like, you won't have a shortage of Dendro characters. They're like, if you can't pull in 3.0, maybe you can pull 3.1, 3.2. There's gonna be good Dendro characters. You know what I mean? But Kazuha, if you miss this Kazuha, chances are you're not going to get Kazuha for another, like, 7-8 months, if you're lucky. Genshin just tweeted a new sword. Well then. Allow us to take a look. Maybe we'll make another video on it. Hey, back to back, baby. Oh damn, I clicked the wrong one. Oh, why? What is this? Whoa, wait. Attack, base attack. How is the base attack compared to other 4-star weapons? Hold up. Do I have a level 90 4-star sword? I don't think so. I can't really measure it. Is this considered high base stat? Shukai says, oh, Walrus, got to go. See you next stream. Thank you, Shukai, for tuning in. Yeah, I'll see you next stream. I'm about to end very soon here, so I'm just going to take a look at this sword. It's interesting, but 15% attack with 180% AoE damage. I'm thinking of a character who can use it. Xingqiu, maybe? Can Xingqiu? Maybe Xingqiu can use it in like a national, like Raiden national team, so like energy regen is not a problem. But what character... Bennett might like it, but Bennett also needs enough energy recharge. Kazuha, like, yeah, DPS Kazuha. DPS Kazuha can use it. Yeah, like if you run a DPS Kazuha, this could work. It could add more damage, but then again, it's really unnecessary. I think if you run Sacrificial Sword on Kazuha is going to be better than this for sure. Like, Sac Sword is really good. Favonius could be good on Kazuha as well. Like, you don't really need this. Yeah, Ayaka. Yeah, Ayaka. This could be a good sword for Ayaka. Yeah, that's true. Then you scale crit damage still because you don't really have a reliance for, like, it's an interesting sword, but I find it to be difficult to be a best in slot for any character, even as a 4-star or a free-to-play best in slot. You know what I mean? It's like it's one option, but it's not going to be like, oh, you have to use this sword. Now the other question is, how easy is it going to get this one to R5? Are we going to be crafting it, or how are we going to be doing this? Right here it says complete the relevant version 2.8 storyline quest to obtain. So it's a storyline quest item, and maybe you'll get a blueprint. So yeah, I think it's gonna be an okay weapon. Like, it's a free weapon. Of course, it's not gonna be that game changing, as long as it's somewhat like usable. I think people aren't gonna really worry too much about it. Yeah. So it is what it is. I don't think you should be using this for Kazuha. I don't think you should be using this for a lot of characters because energy regen is too important of a stat for a lot of them. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. That's just me taking a glance at it, to be honest with you. But yeah, we're gonna be ending stream today. I do feel very tired, very drained. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you to the donations. Day, I remember you gave a donation, very generous of you. And Bench Gamer, if you guys want to check him out for his lovely commentary content. And PS Quick, the dude that just came here. Sorry. It's been a long one today, and yeah, I hope to see you guys. I hope to see you guys on either Tuesday or Wednesday. I think maybe I can do a Tuesday stream if the patch is coming out on Tuesday, I believe. Now I have to find a way to navigate out of here with my dog underneath. So maybe I'll still be sitting here 3 days from now. Who knows? All right, people. Thank you guys for tuning in. Love you guys very much. And best of luck summoning for Kazuha. Do pick him up if you don't have any copy. I think it's a smart move. And then go for the Dendro characters. I do think most Dendro characters should be making a rerun faster than Kazuha. Okay? Stay safe. Peace. Subscribe. Like the stream for more engagement. Comment the stream for more engagement. You can just comment 1, 2, 3 just because Walrus said so. Just kidding. Don't do that. You're going to get flagged for spam. Bye.